Hi guys, and welcome to another episode. And as you can see, the setup on my desk is slightly different today. It doesn't look usual, and the episode will be different than usual. So what we have here is a PC that, well, I got it from friends of my family basically, and I worked on it like a year ago or a few months ago, and they basically took it out of the basement where it was for a very long time, and they wanted to use it again for some reason. And so the computer was not in a good condition. uh, it was it had some liquid spilled on it, on the graphics card I think, and the motherboard. I had to clean it. It was full of dust and everything, like the even the chassis is bent and everything. So let me actually take the cover off and let's see that beauty. We have an air duct here, and the side panel. Let's put it aside for now. Alright, so that's our PC, and as I said, I worked on it some time ago, and it actually works. It came back now because the owner said that it has some problems with sound. We'll check that later, maybe, or maybe not. But yeah, that's the PC, and then it's, well, it's working as I said, but it's very old PC. So the motherboard, you cannot see it. It's P5QL-E, and you may know, or you may Google it if you don't believe me. It's basically Core 2 Duo and Core 2 Quad. So it's LGA, I think 775 it is, Intel socket. And yeah, so it's really old. It has two RAM sticks. I checked, it's 1 GB sticks, so 2 GB altogether, and some graphics card. For now, I don't know what it is. We'll check later when we boot to Windows. But yeah, I will actually boot into the BIOS, because as I said, it's actually working. You can see the picture here, and you can already see, but you will see it better probably if I enter the BIOS. Let me just go into the system information, which is here, and what we have here is Intel Core Duo CPU E7400 running at 2.8 GHz, 2 cores, 2 threads, and as mentioned, 2 GB of RAM. And to be honest with you, yeah, it's working. Probably I can fix the sound thing, and as you can see, it has a modern SSD. It also has two hard drives. I don't remember the capacity, but those are also working and they have some data on it. And there are also two DVD drives, which from what I remember, they aren't even working. So I just put it here as a, just to blind the holes in the chassis in front, and they are not even connected, so probably not working. And I don't think we'll be using them anymore. So I'll switch off the PC. You know what it is for now. Let's discuss what we're gonna do about it. So basically what I'm planning to do, I'm planning to get rid of most of it. So the CPU we have in here, I checked on the internet, and the launch date of this thing was Q1 28. So it's what? It's 16 years old. So in terms of PCs, it's ancient, and I think for modern applications, even like Windows everyday use, it's just not enough. It's just, yeah, it's useless, to be honest. And and I think it's time to get rid of it. Although it's working, they can give it away for free, but we'll do something about it. And actually they don't know what I'm going to they don't know what I'm going to do with this PC. And my idea is to upgrade it a little bit. Well, upgrade is probably too much said, because I'm going to probably replace it almost completely. So what we have here is basically motherboard, CPU, cooler and RAM set, which I got together. I already ran it, it's working. I tested it. So basically what we have here, let's start with the motherboard. So this is B350M Pro-VD Plus. So it's AM4 300 series motherboard, so like a mid-range. So that's the first series of the Ryzen motherboards. And yeah, quite old as well. It doesn't even have the M.2 drive, which is a bummer, but I installed a new SSD, like a modern one here, but as you can see, it's just a 2.5 inch SSD drive, right? So we can keep it. It's quite spacious, almost 500 gigabytes, so should be enough for the system and the applications they are using. So we will keep it. So the lack of M.2 slot is not a big deal actually. And I bought this motherboard last week, and well, it was supposed to be faulty. I bought it with the intention of fixing, just for this project, let's say, for this upgrade. But it turned out it was actually okay. So I just removed the BIOS battery, which was actually okay, and I shorted the JBAT1 header here. So if you remove the battery and then short it for a moment with like tweezers or something metal, it will clear the BIOS settings. I plugged the battery again, and actually the board was working. So of course I will give it some more testing, but looks like it's working. Then, and I paid for it 60 PLN, which is like $15 at the moment. Then I have a CPU. I don't remember how much paid I for it, but it's Ryzen 5 1600. So again, not very new processor. It was launched in April 2017, but then again, it's 9 years newer than this crap here. And by the way, those sticks, not sure if I mentioned, that's DDR2. DDR2, it's ancient. So yeah, the CPU right now, I mean, I had it in in my parts laying around. I didn't use it. I really don't have any use for it anymore. I have other CPUs to test, motherboards and stuff, and I could sell it, but I would get like $20 to $25 for it. So actually pennies, and it's not worth much, but it's still I would say decent CPU and quite relevant. So definitely will be better than this thing here. That's the stock cooler that came with this exact CPU. Actually, I found the box and the stock cooler, so it's actually nice. And the last thing we have, well, second last, so we have two sticks of DDR4 3000 megahertz RAM sticks, two sticks, each 8 gigabytes each, so 16 gigabytes together, so 8 times more than this thing here. And the last thing, actually, let me grab it because I didn't prepare it, sorry. And the last thing that's going in, it's this graphics card. And it's funny because, well, I also bought it as a faulty, but that was like long time ago. It was sitting with me for, I don't know, like 2 years, maybe more. Actually, I bought it when I started my Facebook page about electronic repairs, and I posted like a 5 graphics card challenge if I was able to fix them, and that was one of the 5 cards I bought back then. And I struggled with it like a lot because, well, at the beginning I completely didn't know what to do with it, how to fix it. I tried several times. I got back to this card several times and I couldn't fix it. And finally, after like, well, recently, like half a year ago maybe, I fixed it. I was using it to test motherboards with CPU that don't have integrated graphics because, well, it's easy to use, it's small, it's handy, and the most important, it doesn't have the power connector from the power supply. So what it does, it actually takes up to 75 watts from the motherboard, and that's it. So that's pretty handy. And again, it's not super powerful, but actually it's a gaming graphics card. You can game on it with like older, simpler games, and it's still pretty okay. So I think we should be good here, and that's why I selected it for this. Well, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna replace all the interiors, so like the motherboard, the graphics card. I will keep the SSD, probably those hard drives, because the owners might want the data that's in there. Probably I will get rid of the DVD drives, and I think I will keep the PSU. I don't know what it is because the sticker is on the other side, and even if I take the other back panel, it's also covered, so I cannot read it. I need to unscrew and remove the power supply first to check what it is, but it looks promising. It has like two 6-pin connectors for the graphics card, so even if we had more powerful card, it should work with that power supply, so it may be actually pretty decent. And even the cables are braided, like this part of it, so yeah, I would say it looks okay. It might be decent, and with our new configuration, so basically the CPU is 65 watt TDP, and I tested it already. It takes up to 70 watts of power. This again, as I mentioned, it takes up to 75 watts from the PCI Express slot only on the motherboard. So it's what, it's around 140, 150. I mean, if we add other components like motherboard and everything, probably it won't even reach 200 watts. And I'm pretty sure the power supply is at least 300 watts, or maybe even more. I would bet it's more. We'll find out later. So yeah, it should be plenty for this. The only disadvantage of this power supply, it only has like 4-pin CPU plug, but again, it should also be enough. So yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna use the power supply and the SSD, the rest, and the drives here. The rest we will remove, and I have a spare chassis which I bought to build a test rig and put it on the table. I thought it will take less space on my desk, but I, with experience, I think just the bare motherboard on the box works better on the tabletop. It's just, it's more convenient to use, to remove and add components, and just to test things out. So it will stay like this, and I will donate that chassis to them. So yeah, I will give all those components to them for free, as I said. So they will be quite surprised seeing the new chassis and completely new computer only with a few components that I will reuse. What they will do with this PC is up to them. Actually, I may take this card because they won't need it anyway, and actually it doesn't have the the additional power connector, so I might use it as a test card, but I will see if it's gonna work on my motherboards well. So yeah, I may use it, but they're gonna get a new PC. And what I wanted to mention, so since the computer is supposedly working, I didn't even boot into Windows, but I will do that off camera and do some basic tests. So I'm not going to test it like long tests. You probably can find the tests on the internet, but we'll just run Cinebench R20 to test the CPU only. I'm not looking at the graphics card. The lady who will use the computer, she does some photo editing, I believe, so she doesn't need that much of the processing power. Maybe some video editing in the future as well. So that new PC will be also decent for that, at least better than this one. So yeah, we'll benchmark this PC, and then we'll build the new PC and run the benchmark on the new one, just to compare how much more power we can get from this upgrade. And yeah, as you could see, it's almost for free. I mean, it didn't cost me much, and you can still get a pretty decent set. You could be even gaming on it, to be completely honest. So I mean, on the new one, not this one. So for that amount of money, I think it's amazing upgrade. Let me know what you see, guys. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your opinion on that, and we'll see each other in a moment when I show you the Cinebench score. And guys, here it is, our beauty. As you can see, it even has an LCD screen showing like temperature and stuff. Very nice. And two DVDs that don't work, and a floppy disk drive. That's ancient. That's our PC right there. And I did run Cinebench. It ran for a while, but well, it did complete, and that's the score. As you can see, it's not great. It's like half of the performance of 5th generation i5, like low voltage CPU, so still not very powerful CPU. But I used this PC for a moment. I downloaded Cinebench and then some drivers and tried to fix the issue with the sound missing, and it's actually pretty snappy thanks to the SSD. With that, it's actually pretty okay for like everyday use. I don't have internet connected right now, but yeah, it's okay. Like the browser loads quite quickly. As I said, I don't have internet, so it won't load, but yeah, it's okay. And well, the Cinebench score is not great, but we'll compare it with the new one. See you in the next one. We're back again, guys, and this time we have our new computer assembled in a Silentium PC case called Regnum. And by the way, the brand is rebranded to Endorphy right now. It's a Polish brand. Not sure if it's available in other countries. Probably countries around Poland, I would guess, may have it as well. But yeah, this is Polish company actually. Of course, they manufacture in China like everyone else, but yeah, it's a Polish brand. And the case looks something like this. It's plastic, of course, but it's like a brushed aluminum imitation. It has some scratches here and there, but overall I think it looks good. And at least compared to the old one, it's, I think, night and day. It has the basement here, which stores the power supply, which is, by the way, 440 watts Neotech. Again, very old power supply, like 15 years old, but well, quite capable. And it even has two 6-pin connectors for a graphics card, so actually it could power up even stronger GPU than this one, so I think it's fine. And well, I had unpleasant surprise with that power supply, because I assembled everything as you see it here, and the computer was basically dead, no sign of life at all. I tried to reconnect the 24 pin connector, but it didn't help. I also tried shorting the power pins, power on pins on the motherboard, because I thought maybe the power button is faulty. But then I unplugged the CPU power here at the top at 12 volts and plugged it again, and then the computer worked. So I think maybe it was not plugged fully or something, I don't know. But yeah, that was scary for a moment. I thought that it's not gonna work and I have to disassemble it again, so I wasn't happy about it, but overall it turned out okay. And I don't know, guys, what you think, but I think it's quite a clean build. And also the case has side panel with sexy plexi window, so that's a nice bonus, I guess. And we can see our lovely PC. And now we have the Cinebench score. That's our configuration right here, and the Cinebench score is 20 over 2500 points, which is slightly higher than, for example, 7700K, so 7th generation i7 from Intel. So I think compared to 300 points we had with the old one, this is amazing improvement, I would say. Of course, there are some, it's not the most powerful CPU, and you can see that if you switch to single core result, so it's actually significantly weaker than 7700K. But yeah, I think it's still quite usable and snappy processor, and compared to what we had before, again, it's night and day. And yeah, so that would be it for that episode. Let me know what you think. Did you enjoy the video? Would you like to see this type of video in the future? I'm not planning to do it often. I think, I'll be back to fixing stuff in the next episodes, but well, you could say that it features some components I actually fixed, so it's still kind of a repair video as well. And we got a nice PC, I think. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, if you want such videos in the future or not. You're free to comment, guys. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it anyway, and see you in the next one.